back to my channel. I'm Paige and this is Pages with Paige. Today I'll be doing the Bookternet All-Star Challenge created by Rachael Marie to raise funds to help support those who have been impacted by COVID-19. This is a challenge and tag that is meant to be shared around. Each submission Rachael receives, she will be donating £1 up to £75 into a pot that will then go to a charity. The winner of the submission will be able to pick which charity the money is given to based off a pre-selected list. Personally, I'm going to help both ways. I'm going to be doing a submission and then I'm also going to be donating to a COVID support unit that's in Australia. I haven't decided which one yet, but I will be donating to that once this video is up. So Rachael has created a bingo board of different books and authors or series that are BookTube's all-stars. They're our favorites, they're our darlings. And yeah, I'm just gonna go through and talk through which ones I have read and which ones I haven't read. The first on the list is Angie Thomas, and her debut was The Hate You Give, and her sophomore novel was On the Come Up. I have read The Hate You Give and absolutely loved it. I read it in 2017 and I haven't yet to read her sophomore novel, but I own both. They're there, ready to go when I am ready. There's no particular reason why I haven't yet. It's just one of those things where I look at it and go, yeah, I want to read that, and then don't. You're going to notice a theme throughout this video relating to that. Next up we have the Shadow Me series by Tahereh Mafi, and I do not own or have read any of these books. I don't know why I haven't. I think I missed the train for it. So I've only been watching BookTube for about 2 years, and whilst people have been talking about it quite actively, I've just never really felt the pull towards picking the series up, see it around, maybe one day. I haven't said no, I'm not going to, but it's not something that's actively drawn my attention to actually go out and buy them and have them on my shelves. So when I'm seeing them and bombarded with books, they're there. The next author is Leigh Bardugo, and I have quite the stack. I have not read a single one of these. This series she is most renowned for is the Grishaverse series, which is Shadow and Bone, Siege and Storm, Ruin and Rising, Six of Crows, and then Crooked Kingdom. I do intend to read these, or at least start the series this year. I don't know if I will finish it. And then she also has an adult novel, Ninth House, and I bought it because of the hype. I like dark academia novels. It's been compared to If We Were Villains by Emma, and that was one of my favourite books of last year. So I want to read it, but at the same time, I have absolutely no draw to actually go and pick it up. So we'll see if I get to this or not. It might just be one of those that sits on my shelves for 6,000 years. Who knows? In case you can't tell, I'm one of those people that will just buy books for the sake of buying books, and I have every intention of reading them eventually. Just when is eventually. Next on the list is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, and I haven't picked them up, and I don't think I will. I'm not saying no forever, but I just, anytime I see them, I'm like, yeah, no thanks, I'm good. I did also have a similar reaction to one of the other authors on this list, which I will touch on later, and then I picked up their books and really enjoyed it. So, I don't know. I'm one of those people that, like, will pick up anything because I can, but then if I actually get to it. So yeah, after seeing Ashley from A Frolic Through Fiction dig an effort, I'm not like feeling too hopeful about it. So yeah, who knows? I don't know. Next up on the list is the Bone Witch series by Rin Chapeko. So I own the Bone Witch and the Heart Forger, and I have yet to read either of these. I do want to read the Bone Witch in July, so hopefully I'll read that and then fill the need to continue on to the next one, and by then get my hands on the third one, which I can't remember, but on the screen I'll have a picture of what the third one is called. So I will get to these sooner rather than later. It's just my priorities are bad. And yeah, I'm very excited and want to support this author in any way that I can. I've also seen their newest released, Wicked As Who Wish, I believe, and that really intrigues me as well, so I might pick that one up. Next up on the list we have V. Schwab, and I own quite a stack. The only two that I have read are Vicious and A Darker Shade of Magic, both of which I really enjoyed, but I have a thing about continuing series and not doing it in a timely manner. So I'm intending on reading A Gathering of Shadows in May for Finish-a-thon, which is exciting. I don't know when I'm going to get to Vengeful or A Conjuring of Light, and The Near Witch I'll probably just pick up whenever I feel like it. It's one of those weird books that you just have and you know it's there, but don't actually make an active effort to read it. This is extremely heavy and my hand is hurting. V. Schwab is an author I will continue to buy from, and I really enjoy her books, so yeah. Next up are the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer, and that is Cinder, Scarlet, Cress, Winter, Fairest, and Stars Above, I believe. I have not picked any of them up, but I definitely intend to. I really love retellings, and I think that it will be a really nice series for me to just chow into. And I love the like sort of sci-fi steampunk element. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong about that being a component. From what I hear, Cinder is a cyborg, and I think that's a really interesting take on this story. Next up on the list we have Adam Severa, and I have read 4 of his works. I have The History Is All You Left Me and More Happy Than Not. I also have What If It's Us by him and Becky Albertalli somewhere, but it escaped me. It might actually be at my parents'. And I also have They Both Die at the End. However, I lent it to a friend, and I think we've just done a book swap, and that's fine by me. But I have read that one, and I really enjoyed it. I'm not going to pick up Infinity Sun. It just doesn't appeal to me. Every time I see it, I just go, yeah, I'm good. I've got other things to read. And yeah, I can't remember if he has any others, but those are the 4 that I've read. Next up on the list we have Cassie Clare, who has written multiple books, all within the Shadowhunters world. I own the first Model Instruments. I don't own any others, and I'm unsure how I feel. I know that I will read the Model Instruments. It's not a high priority for me, but I will read it. But I don't know if I will pick up any of the spin-offs, because I feel like I'm already drowning in her works, and I only have 6, and I know there are a lot more than 6 of her books. So yeah, I would really have to love this series to then consider picking up the rest, but I have them one day. It's a common thing. Next up on the list is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and yes, own it, love it. Oh my goodness, this is a darling of darlings, and I adore every second. I was engaged with the mystery element of it. I wanted to know more. I did the same as everyone else, thinking she was a real historical figure, which she wasn't, and I was sad. So I read the ending of this on my way to a teaching placement at 7:30 in the morning, and I cried my eyes out on the train, and then got to school and they were like, "Are you okay to teach today?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine. Books, feelings." So yeah, have a very, very strong, lovely connection to this book, and I'm so thankful that it exists in the world. Next up we have Lena Taylor, and she has written the Daughter Who Smoke and Bone trilogy and the Strangely Dreamer duology, and I have read the whole of Daughter of Smoke and Bone series and Strangely Dreamer, and I will be reading Muse of Nightmares next month, and I have adored everything that she has written. Lena Taylor is definitely one of my favourite authors. I think she writes the characters in a way that's just so easily able to connect to them and relatable, even if the situations aren't. And I feel that I just get lost in her worlds. I read Strange the Dreamer on the train trip from where I am to my parents in one go. I could not put it down. It was amazing. And yes, it is quite a long train trip, but still. And the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series I read back to back, and I haven't done that for a very long time. As demonstrated, I have issues following through with series. So the fact that I've binged that, just astronomical love. Absolutely love. And all the characters, I want them in my life. I've also read Night of Cake and Puppets and really, really loved. I just love Susanna and Mick, and just, yes. So that was brilliant. I haven't read her short stories though, so that's something that I could look into. Next on the list, we have the Illuminate series by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. So I have actually only read Illuminate and don't own it, and own Gemina and Obsidio. I really need to go out and get a copy of Illuminate. I borrowed it from my library, and then because I wasn't sure how I was going to feel with it, J. Kristoff and I have a touch and go sort of relationship, but I loved it, absolutely adored it, and I can't wait to jump into these. I am intending on reading Gemina next month, and then hopefully we'll follow. Track record is against me, but one day, fingers crossed. Next on the list, we have the Scythe trilogy by Niels Eastman. So I have read Scythe and Thunderhead and absolutely loved both of those. Just, oof, ah, hee, ha. But I've been procrastinating this behemoth because people seem very disappointed with it, and I'm not ready. I ordered it the second I could, even though not matching. But I can't bring myself to do it. It is on my TBR for next month, but whoo, oh, help. So, yeah, I haven't had the best of things. People are just not happy with it, so I'm waiting for my expectations to just not be so high, so then I'm not as disappointed, or it will exceed my expectations because they've become so low. I don't know. I need to do this and put myself out of whatever agony I'm in. But, yeah. I also believe this was a signed Alcrate edition. That's where I ordered it from. So it's got more of the purplies. Different design. Next is Sarah J. Maas, and I own a few of her books. I have read A Court of Thorns and Roses, and I intend on continuing with A Court of Mist and Fury next month. I don't intend on reading Throne of Glass anytime soon, but once I finish this series, I'm going to jump into Crescent City, which I actually received. So thankful that we did a little bit of a Twitter slot. So yeah, I'm still waiting on another book, and then I'll post that video. But yeah, so really loved, absolutely, really adored. Very excited. Nervous about, keen for. And I will thank Ashley, Gavin and Becca for being this influence. And I was not intending on reading A Court of Thorns and Roses this year, but alas, here we are, and I need more. Next on the list is the Ember in the Ashes series by Sabaa Tahir. And I'm more intrigued on picking it up now than I have been in the past. I think because there's been a re-emergence of love for it. So basically Britt and G from Brook Close both read it. Britt was closer to now, and G was sometime last year, I think. And their love for it just made me go, oh yeah, that's a thing. Whilst I hadn't been really drawn to it, I don't know the plot. And that's the same for Shatter Me. I just don't know the plots. And I think because people are like, oh yeah, you should know, here's the thing. Cool. Or I've heard it and it just didn't retain in my brain, and now I'm like, yeah, whatever. So yeah, I'm more likely to pick that up. I would pick it up sooner if someone said, hey, let's buddy read this together. But until then, not gonna go out and get it. So next on the list is Shauna Maguire, and I have read Middlegame and absolutely adored this. I was confused, I was intrigued, I was hurt. and I can understand why so many people love it. I wouldn't say it's one of my all-time favorites, but I can appreciate it for what it did. I've also read Into the Drowning Deep under her pen name of Mira Grant, and I really enjoyed this. I was captivated, I was enthralled, I felt the atmosphere, I appreciated the queerness. It was just a really good read. So I feel like I enjoyed Middlegame more story-wise. I'm not good with like horror, suspense sort of things. I am a chicken, so it was slightly painful. But yeah, I'm in Australia, and to get the Everhot a Doorway series is not cheap, and I can't justify it. I want it so bad. I even started listening to the first one on Scribd and then just had other things come up, and I always forget about them because they're not in my physical collection. I know that I would really, really enjoy them, but I want the physical copies, and I'm broke. So that's not happening anytime soon, sadly. But yeah, I definitely can understand the hype behind Shauna Maguire. Next on the list is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, and I'm definitely interested in picking this up. I just haven't yet because it's intimidating. It's big. I have really only just started getting my feet back into high intense fantasy. I feel like I went through a phase where I was just like, yeah, give me everything, give me anything, and fantasy fell by the wayside. I was reading a lot of hard-hitting contemporaries, I was reading YA fantasy, I was reading classics, I was reading thrillers. Adult fantasy just got missed, and I feel like that was when the Poppy War was making its big splash, and so I just wasn't drawn to pick it up then, and now I'm like, yes please, I need to grab that, and I keep forgetting. So yeah, that's that one. I will get to it eventually. Eventually is like the key word in this video. Help. The last series on the bingo board is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han series. I have read the first. I have read the second. Do I read this next month and just finish it off, or do I procrastinate it like every other series? Probably. Have not read the last one. I am really interested to. I read the second one, P.S. I Still Love You, because the movie was coming out, and I was like, oh yeah, still haven't watched the movie. So I've seen and read the first one, read the second one, haven't read the third. And I think they're cute. They're a nice little fluffy palette cleanser, which I really enjoy. And I think I need to time this right. So I'm not gonna read this until I really need to. So like, I read Women Dimple Met Rishi after reading My Dark Vanessa, and I feel like that was the perfect timing for me to get the most out of a palette cleanser. And so I just have to wait for a book to really mess with my emotions, and then I can pick this up. So I currently have 3 giant piles next to me. My bookshelves are a mess. I even had to go into my moving boxes to get one of my books out that I read in 2017, because that came from my parents' place. And yeah, this is a mess. I think a lot of it comes down to me being engaged in the hype and enjoying having books recommended so frequently and so beloved by people. And with not being a critical reader, I know that I'm going to enjoy a lot more of these than not. The only one I really don't have any pull towards is the Shatter Me series. So take of that what you will. Everyone else I would happily read more things from if they have any more. And yeah, so I can understand why they're booktube darlings. It's definitely well talked about, well loved, and very much appreciated within the booktube community. But I'm curious to see how this challenge goes in portraying different opinions. But that's my take on it. They're my piles of most of the things I need to read, not a lot that I have read. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.